4 years, 2 months in prison.
Wow.
He served a year. He gets some time. He gets 15% credit, so he'd be at 14-ish.
2.5 years.
2 months.
So, and then he gets another 15% in the remaining.
Yeah.
He's out in 2 years.
Yeah. Should have stuck with the original guest.
I know.
Yeah.
Katt Williams has officially crossed the line from comedian to prophet of chaos. We're watching the moment he stopped just telling jokes and started dropping warnings that nobody wants to hear. This week, as the world digested Diddy's 4-year sentence for transporting women for private encounters, Katt didn't just laugh at the verdict, he called it the trailer before the movie. According to him, what just happened in court isn't even the main feature. In his words, the FBI is loading up for the real show, and the next names on the arrest list are about to make everyone's jaws drop. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, people Katt claims are not just Diddy's acquaintances, they're accomplices. He says the feds are coming, and that what's about to happen will make Diddy's trial look like a dress rehearsal.
Known that I've talked for a while, a lot of people are buzzing that Diddy's former BFFs are real quiet.
And they have been.
And people were wondering why and who's the next to fall. And then Jay-Z comes out, and then LeBron James says, I'm stepping away for excused personal reasons. And people are going, oh, what is going on?
It was barely 24 hours after Diddy stood in a packed New York courtroom, eyes fixed on the judge, listening as his fate was sealed. 4 years for coercing his exes into the freak-off parties that have already become legend and meme. Yet even before Diddy could issue his apology to his sobbing children and his mother, before the press could print the words remorseful and punished enough, Katt Williams was online ridiculing not just the sentence, but the entire spectacle. He said, point blank, that the real drama hasn't even started. According to Katt, the FBI is getting ready to arrest Diddy's most powerful friends. And for the first time, he didn't just imply, he named names: Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Names that usually spell endorsement deals, not subpoenas. We have to remember, this isn't a random hot take from a comedian hoping to trend. Katt has been broadcasting these warnings for months. Back in January 2024 on Club Shay Shay, he looked Shannon Sharp in the eye and said, "All lies will be exposed this year." That line went viral for a reason. People laughed, sure, but then September rolled around, Diddy was led away in handcuffs, and suddenly the internet realized Katt wasn't just spitballing. His old words started circulating again. Clips from that podcast got chopped and memed. Because whether you find Katt paranoid or prophetic, the scoreboard shows he called Diddy's legal downfall before any charges were even public.
This is the flight where Diddy said to her,
Showed her
she
the video.
testified
Showed her the
that
freak-off video.
he showed her a video of a freak-off that she participated in and said, if you don't participate in another freak-off when we get to New York, I'm gonna put this video out. I'm gonna send it to your mother.
And that's coercion,
She testified
if it's true.
to that.
If the jury
they
believes
believed her,
yeah.
that's coercion.
That's
they would have Cass.
And right as people started questioning if his predictions would end there, the courtroom gave them more to work with. In the most bizarre twist yet, Diddy's ex, only identified as Jane, took the stand and revealed under oath that Diddy used to role-play as Michael Jordan at those infamous parties. Yes, Diddy as Jordan, while the others played NBA legends like Kobe and Shaq. This wasn't whispered in a bathroom. This was courtroom testimony on the record in June 2025. Jane described substance-fueled sessions with a cast of characters, some paid, some coerced, all overseen by Diddy, who apparently saw himself as the MJ of the freak-off universe. Now, Michael Jordan's reaction was immediate. According to sources close to the NBA icon, who was sunning himself in Sardinia when the news broke, he found the whole situation weird and wanted no part of it. Jordan's camp stressed he didn't want his name attached to any controversy. No new crying memes, no press statements, just a hard pass and a hope that this mess would evaporate as quickly as it arrived. But what we can't ignore is that once your name lands in a federal transcript, you don't just log off and hope it goes away.
How do you personally view that legacy that he's built? And do you think that by the end he will merit a place in that conversation of top 3, top 1?
What was the name again? Pardon me. Who?
Some guy called James, LeBron James.
Oh, okay, LeBron James. Is he playing?
Meanwhile, Katt doubled down. He took a victory lap online, reposting videos and memes and telling his millions of followers that the circus is just setting up its tents. We can see how Katt's confidence has become its own news cycle. The man refuses to let go of the story. He said he's been invited to Diddy's private gatherings over the years and always turned them down. He's insisted he has the receipts to prove he knows who went, who stayed, and who looked away. If I'm at the Diddy party, I'm there to tell, he's joked. And while that plays for laughs on stage, in the context of Diddy's legal fallout, it starts to sound like a challenge to the entire industry. We can't talk about Diddy's parties without mentioning Cassie Ventura, his other ex, whose courtroom testimony put the phrase "freak off" on every late-night monologue and news chyron. She told jurors she'd give back her $20 million settlement just to erase those nights. She described scenes of coercion, marathon sessions that would go on for days, a lifestyle built on substances and threats. The prosecution built its case around her and Jane, using their stories to paint a picture of Diddy as not just an abuser, but a ringleader with a taste for humiliation and control. And now, with Jane linking those parties directly to the NBA's biggest names, we're left wondering just how deep this guest list goes.
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage.
This is where the rumor mill turns into a wood chipper, because as soon as Michael Jordan's name hit the wire, every connection got dragged out of the closet. Old footage resurfaced of LeBron James, bright-eyed on an Instagram Live with Diddy, declaring, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." That clip is now making its rounds for all the wrong reasons, with Twitter sleuths calling that soundbite aged like milk. The two have been photographed together at the ESPYs, at dinner parties, even dancing at a private event. Nothing illegal in a photo, but in 2025, context is everything, and the internet's favorite pastime is guilt by association. Sources familiar with federal investigations say the FBI is not just looking at Diddy's bank records or who picked up a microphone at his birthday bash. They're combing through who was actually in those rooms, who signed the NDAs, and who might have reason to wish they'd stayed home. The list of A-listers who have partied with Diddy over the last decade is a who's who of entertainment and sports royalty. Most have stayed completely silent since the arrest. Some, like LeBron, have quietly scrubbed social media connections, unfollowing Diddy as soon as rumors started turning into subpoenas.
Let's talk about LeBron James, the Lakers head coach, saying he is out for personal reasons. It's an excused absence. However, social media trying to connect it to a resurfaced clip where James joined Diddy Combs on a live stream and said, quote, "Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party." I think that went viral. I remember when he...
But in the court of public opinion, silence is an answer. As soon as LeBron's name was whispered in connection with the parties, the internet delivered its own verdict. Rumors began circulating of a viral meme supposedly showing LeBron ducking questions about how many freak-off parties he'd attended, saying, "I prefer not to speak on this matter until I know how much information becomes public knowledge." Major sports outlets quickly pointed out there's no real record of him saying this, but as anyone paying attention to 2025 media knows, denials and fact checks don't spread half as fast as a spicy quote, even if it's made up. Meanwhile, Katt Williams seems to be enjoying his role as chaos agent. Every day, he finds a new way to stoke the fire, reposting doctored videos, reminding the world of his Club Shay Shay prediction, and dropping names no one else will say out loud. He's made it clear he thinks the mainstream is still pretending not to see what's right in front of them, and while he hasn't been called to testify, despite viral YouTube rumors to the contrary, Katt's confidence hasn't faded. He claims there's a long list of A-listers who should be worried, and he's betting the feds have that same list.
See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Ken, I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The public is left to play detective with a stack of clues. The testimony of women like Cassie and Jane, the photos from past events, the awkward silences from athletes and musicians, and the unending stream of speculation from social media. We've watched as old video footage of LeBron and Diddy laughing and dancing at dinner parties is recontextualized by this latest wave of allegations. Suddenly, every handshake, every group photo, every compliment exchanged in public is being examined for hidden meaning. Some of this is classic internet hysteria, but a lot of it is fueled by the fact that, time after time, Katt Williams has been ahead of the story. Insiders close to the ongoing investigation are telling us that prosecutors are under pressure to prove not just Diddy's guilt, but to expose anyone who helped cover up his activities. Attorneys representing the women in Diddy's case have publicly warned that enablers are about to be named, and that the next round of indictments could include people who have, up to this point, been seen only as party guests or business associates. It's the question hanging over every headline. Will the FBI actually drag in the biggest names in sports and music, or is this just the internet's fantasy of seeing heroes fall?
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers. You know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers, why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
What can't be denied is that the legal stakes are climbing. Since the Diddy verdict, calls have intensified for prosecutors to go after his inner circle. Attorneys have started dropping hints that what we've seen so far is just the start, with the real fireworks coming when names like Jordan and LeBron are either cleared or pulled into the quicksand. Defense lawyers for Michael Jordan have already gone on record insisting he's got nothing to hide, that his reputation matters more than any brand deal. Jordan himself, according to friends, wants to disappear until the scandal calms down. But federal transcripts and sworn testimony have a way of turning the spotlight back on, no matter how far you run.
You start the comparisons. I think it is what it is. It's just a stand-up measurement. And I take.
Behind the scenes, LeBron's silence is growing louder. Conservative commentators, former associates, and a handful of media personalities are openly wondering why one of the most vocal celebrities in America suddenly has nothing to say about his old friend Diddy. There's been no denial, no statement, not even a PR-crafted note about thoughts and prayers or respecting the process. For a man who's never shied away from controversy, that absence has not gone unnoticed. People are starting to wonder, is LeBron keeping quiet because there's nothing to tell, or because the next round of subpoenas is going to start landing closer to home? And as all these questions swirl, Katt Williams isn't backing down. Just as Michael Jordan's name appeared on the courtroom transcript, Katt doubled down again, telling his fans that the real storm hasn't even hit yet. The next wave of arrests, he claims, will make Diddy's trial look like a warm-up. We're watching an entire industry hold its breath, waiting to see who's next. As the story keeps twisting, the headlines keep piling up, and the lines between rumor, evidence, and outright panic start to blur. Because as this scandal escalates, and as the FBI's net keeps widening, every unanswered question becomes its own ticking clock, and the difference between witness and defendant starts to look dangerously thin.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong.
Now the silence is deafening. Diddy is behind bars, but Katt says the real story is only starting. We can see how the public denials and carefully worded statements are failing to fill the void. Michael Jordan's name just landed in the middle of a federal trial, and all he's offered through his insiders is that he finds the whole thing weird and wants nothing to do with it. This while he lounges in Sardinia, doing everything possible to steer clear of the headlines, but for all his efforts to distance himself, the damage is already done. His name is now tied to one of the wildest chapters in entertainment scandal history. At the same time, LeBron's silence hangs in the air like a storm that refuses to break. While the world waits for even a single post or denial, his social media stays locked up tighter than Diddy's guest list. Memes and rumors fill the void where answers should be. TikTok and X are churning out every possible angle, some of it laughably fake. The so-called LeBron and Diddy tape that sent Facebook into a tailspin, fact-checkers torched it almost as fast as it spread, but the fire was already burning. The original Marca headline about party videos didn't mention anything incriminating, but people are hungry for spectacle, and so the doctored versions rack up millions of views. That's the new reality for LeBron, Jordan, and anyone else who was ever seen at a Diddy party. The real and the invented are now fused, and the truth is stuck fighting its way through the algorithm. And every time a rumor gets debunked, Katt reposts another smirk, reminding everyone, I told you who's next.
And now for some of the biggest trending stories you'll want to know today. Sports legend. People call him the GOAT. LeBron James taking an excused absence from the basketball season. This, as resurfaced video, is being examined in a new...
But this isn't just about social media drama or memes getting out of hand. We can't ignore how Diddy's entire empire has collapsed in slow motion over the last year. Federal prosecutors didn't just charge him. They laid out a disturbing blueprint, describing freak-off parties where power and control took center stage and consent got lost in the haze. Cassie Ventura's testimony, along with Jane and others, forced the world to look at how fame can twist relationships into nightmares. We've seen stories from former employees like Deontay Nash, who described violent outbursts and intimidation, giving the prosecution ammunition that goes way beyond private encounters or personal excess. The court heard about surveillance footage, bruises, even people being dangled from balconies. It's not just about Diddy's guilt anymore. The fallout is about the walls closing in on everyone who was close enough to know, but kept showing up for the perks.
He was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive use.
Insiders claim more subpoenas are coming, that the FBI isn't stopping at the big fish already in the net. We're hearing that investigators are digging deep into photos, guest lists, travelogues, and flight manifests from those long weekends in Miami, LA, the Hamptons. Every private jet record, every blurry Instagram selfie from a penthouse is suddenly evidence in a federal dragnet. The days of it was just a party are over. That's exactly what Katt meant when he said they're not done yet. Because what the authorities want now isn't just proof that Diddy crossed lines. It's the names of everyone who helped, watched, or just turned a blind eye. Now, what's playing out is bigger than any single celebrity. We're watching the whole idea of celebrity get turned inside out. Michael Jordan, who has spent millions of dollars opening clinics for uninsured families, now fights to keep his legendary brand away from the shadow of Diddy's parties. It's a stunning contradiction. One day, you're cutting the ribbon on a new medical center, the next you're scrambling to scrub your name off a list no one wants to be on. And LeBron, who's built a public image as an activist, a family man, a leader, now has to manage the optics as old party videos and awkward photos get dredged up. He hasn't been charged, there's no evidence he did anything illegal, but that doesn't matter in the court of public opinion. All it takes is a decade-old clip, a bad meme, and suddenly he's being asked about the company he kept.
Hey LeBron, how you doing tonight, man? Yo, you wish Diddy happy birthday, man? Where do you get the man that has everything, LeBron?
Meanwhile, Katt Williams is making it personal. He's branded these icons as the chosen ones pretending to be clean, the ones who tell the world how to live but can't escape their own secrets. Katt's narrative isn't just about Diddy's guilt, it's about fame itself, about how the powerful play by their own rules until the spotlight shifts and the rules come looking for them. We can feel the pressure ratcheting up with every headline, every viral clip, every cryptic post. It's not just lawyers and agents on edge, it's the whole industry wondering who gets dragged into the next scandal. Because if Katt's right and the feds are just getting started, nobody is safe, no matter how many foundations they open or how carefully they manage their PR.
If there is a God side and the other side, if there are moral things and things that are immoral, if there is this side or that side, it can't be left up to thought process. I'm an enforcer on this side.
What's most chilling isn't just the exposure of individuals, but the collapse of an entire system of protection and denial. For years, the whispers were dismissed as jealousy or tabloid noise. Now we're seeing how easy it was for powerful people to keep secrets, aided by networks of employees, assistants, even other celebrities. Insiders point to private security details and deals handed out like party favors and hush money paid to make evidence disappear. But the tide has shifted. Federal prosecutors are on the hunt for the enablers, the ones who handled logistics, booked the flights, brought in the guests, and left with more than just a goodie bag. The question on everyone's lips: how many people will go down before someone finally flips? That's the kind of speculation fueling every group chat, podcast, and gossip column right now. For some, this feels like the last days of the old celebrity order, a moment where loyalty to fame is being replaced by fear of prosecution. We see it every time a star who once boasted about wild nights suddenly goes silent or deletes old photos or avoids talking to the press. The same agents and managers who once bragged about their clients' access to exclusive parties are now quietly lawyering up, reviewing emails and praying their names don't land in the next subpoena batch. The anxiety isn't just about what they did, but about what someone else saw, filmed, or kept on a hard drive for a rainy day.
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening.
For Michael Jordan and LeBron James, the stakes couldn't be higher. Jordan, with a lifetime of endorsements and a second act as a philanthropist, knows his brand can survive almost anything, except for a federal investigation that won't take no comment as an answer. LeBron has spent years curating reputation as a role model, but all it takes is one credible witness or a single blurry screenshot, and suddenly every talk show in America is asking questions he can't control. Katt Williams calls them out not just for what they may have done, but for how loudly they protest their innocence now after years of benefiting from Diddy's orbit. In Katt's universe, it's not just about who gets caught, but about who has been hiding in plain sight. This story is rewriting the rules as it unfolds. Just a few months ago, Diddy was angling for a lighter sentence, his lawyers arguing about inhumane jail conditions and the supposed unfairness of his conviction. His children sobbed in court. His attorneys praised his record label and charity work, but the court was unmoved. Prosecutors painted a picture, not just of a man who crossed legal lines, but of a culture built on intimidation, silence, and complicity. The judge spelled it out: you had the money and the power to keep it going. This was subjugation. Those words still echo, not just in the courtroom, but in every industry boardroom where people are suddenly afraid to answer their phones.
I've beaten people up and I've been beat up. If you've ever been in both of those positions, then you understand. Like, right. I never The blessing with me is I never have a bad intention.
What makes the scandal so potent is that it's not just about private encounters or substances or violence, it's about power. We're seeing in real time how fragile that power becomes when the people who once enforced the silence decide to talk. As new lawsuits and testimonies pile up and as prosecutors review every party invite and guest list, the old lines between celebrity, criminality, and complicity start to blur. For every rumor that gets debunked, a new one takes its place. Katt Williams is happy to play the provocateur, reminding us with every repost and interview that the show isn't over. If anything, it's just moved into a much darker act. And as the media storm swirls, we have to ask, what happens if the next big headline isn't about Diddy at all, but about someone who always seemed untouchable? What if the FBI's next big press conference isn't about a disgraced mogul, but about the people who helped him stay protected for so long? With every week, the questions get sharper, the rumors bolder, and the stakes higher. Not just for the stars, but for the entire machine that made them. So, now we're left with one burning question. If the man everyone called crazy keeps being right, then who's really next, and will we even see it coming? Drop your take in the comments. Do you think the feds have bigger names in their sights, or is this all smoke and mirrors? However it shakes out, you know we'll be watching every move. Until then, stay sharp, keep asking questions, and remember, sometimes the truth isn't just stranger than fiction, it's the headline nobody saw coming.